If you've even existed in 2026 or 2025 or really any year, you probably have heard of feminism. Feminism is the idea that women can be equal to men, not in just physical capability, but in social standing. Now, you probably visibly cringed when you heard the word feminist, and that's because the word has been twisted and misused for quite a while now. You see, feminism started from actual inequality. You see, there was a time where women simply could not vote, could not get jobs aside from very specific jobs that their gender was assigned, and they were treated very poorly because if your husband was to hit you with a 10-piece chicken combo, you would go to the judge begging for help. The judge would laugh in your face and tell you or your husband to hit you even more. No, you're probably saying, okay, that's what feminism is. Why is there a problem with that? No, there's no problem with feminism when there's actually a reason to assume there's an inequality. But the problem is, these days, that's not even true. The problem with modern feminism is that, unlike the older one, where people actually had reasons to act like this, modern feminists went from a equality standpoint where they want women to be equal to a we want free benefits just for being born with a hole in between our legs instead of a sausage. The real problem is that it went from we want voting rights to we should get much more than men ever will get from their job because we're women and they should be giving us everything and caring for us. Like, the amount of times I've heard women get mad online because they have to just drag their heavy bag that they put all the stuff in, by the way, up the stairs by themselves because they want to be toxic and say they can be independent. And if you want to be independent, why should I open the door for you? Why should I carry your bags? First things first, I don't even know you. You're just a random lady. And according to you, all ladies are independent. So if I don't know you and you claim you want independence, then take your independence. That's another problem with modern feminism. It can't decide what it wants. It can't decide if it wants women to be able to break away from men or if it wants women to be able to dominate men, which isn't equality. That's a matriarchy. What's so bad about this is that, unlike other hate groups, like the Triple K, I will not be saying the actual name because I don't want to get demonetized. If you know, you know. They don't act like a hate group. They always try to mask it behind we're feminists, we're trying to get equality for women. So what's really going on is that it's a hate group against men. And nobody talks about it because they always keep up this we're against the the patriarchy nonsense. The problem is there is no patriarchy. Not anymore. It's just you either work like a regular person or you stay broke and poor. The difference between men and women is that women often will just simply choose not to work and then forget that they chose not to work because they just don't like to blame themselves. And I know because, like everyone who's ever been a child, we all knew that one adult who would never admit they were wrong. Like, they would clearly do something to bother you, then they'd act like you were bothering them, or something else like that. The thing is that when feminism started, when it actually had a reason to speak out against men, it wasn't just sexism that was disguised as trying to get rights. It was actually genuinely people trying to get their rights because their husband could drop kick them and get away with it as long as they didn't freaking die. So now they lost all sort of respect that they ever had. And I'm not saying, oh, women should be quiet and submissive. No, I'm saying the original feminists were actually quite kind. Like, they didn't speak so sexistly against men. Well, they did point out things that men did. They were generally pretty nice, actually. Modern feminists will call you a misogynistic pig just because you said you're tired of hearing them ranting. Because, let's be honest, that's all most of it is these days. Feminists used to have kind little protests. Modern feminists, well, I doubt there's anything kind about these fools. Like, they seriously will act like they have a personal problem with you just because you were born with a, a meat sausage in between your legs instead of a hole. I don't care what's between your freaking legs. If you talk trash to me, I'm gonna get mad. Listen to that. It went from protesting for rights to slur slinging and begging for extra pay just because they have a different thing in between their legs. Another problem is that a male committing essay on a female is generally taken much more seriously than a male saying that a female essayed them. So, no, there is no inequality if you can literally accuse me of essay and get me put in prison with a lot less evidence than if I said the same thing. Like, there are plenty of males of different age groups, most likely little boys, since they're definitely a lot easier to essay than actual, men. And no, I'm not saying I have experience with that. Why the heck would I? I'm saying that just from a raw physical point, boys are generally much weaker than actual men, which means they're much easier to essay. Sadly, they're also taken much less seriously than females, which means if I was to get dragged into the street, beat up, and uh, graped by a woman, guess what? I would have to prove to the law with full evidence that that happened. But let's say a woman wants that to happen. All they gotta do is point at me and say that I did it. And if they're pregnant, even if it was fully consensual, guess what? I'm cooked. I'm getting sent to prison right away. Feminists actually, well, females in general, probably have more rights than men when you really think about it. Like, if you look at it, all a woman has to do to get paid like thousands of dollars a month is lay down with somebody and have a child. Do the baby making thing. Make sure that you don't get an abortion or miscarriages and try not to get abused because apparently getting beat up can kill the baby. And if the man doesn't want to go to prison, they probably won't put their hands on you. So now you have a ticking time bomb before you can leave the relationship and get 18 months of richness. Well, not richness, but you get a relatively decent amount of money, even from a regular old guy with minimum wage. Now, imagine how easy that is for women. Because women are the ones having babies. And men are the ones who want to do the baby making things a lot. Now, you gotta think. All they gotta do to have a baby is lay down with somebody without protection. A lot of people do that. That means all you gotta do is be like in a relationship or something with a really rich person. Well, not really a relationship, just like get hired, if you know what I mean, by a rich person, or maybe like just do the thing women do where they give their bodies away for like no reason besides to make you addicted to them. No, you got a way to get like potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars a month just because he had a child. Wow. That is not fair at all. That should be considered a right because it's something that men simply can't do. Plus, you already got your voting rights. You already got the whole if you get hit by a man, they get extra time than if they hit a man thing. So, yes, you have more rights than men. Stop acting like you have less rights. Anyway, the conclusion of this video is that, well, modern feminists are pretty bad. They act pretty mean. They want rights that they already have. And yeah, that's really all I gotta say because if I say any more, I might offend YouTube. And I'm not trying to do that because YouTube, I need money. Remember, don't harass feminists, or anyone for that matter. Humans are humans. People are people. Don't bother anyone for their beliefs.